Okay, so this is my first ever live with a poppy on my lap. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I did a post earlier on my Facebook page um, that was talking about arsenic and how it was actually something that we need. And it gave, in fact, let me show. That's probably going to be easier if I throw that on. Let me see if I can. There we go. Um, Yeah, that works. Okay, so here was the post, and it was talking about these lines that you can see on his face and her face here, and relating that to a deficiency in arsenic. And most people are a bit shocked when they hear the word deficiency in arsenic because they just see it as a poison, which it also is, um, and they're unaware that actually the human body needs it. So this was a post put up by a guy, Tim, I don't even know how to say that surname, Goyechi, Tim Goechi. Let's try that. So he says, these are the wrinkles that concern him most. Whenever he sees wrinkles in one of his clients, he always knows that it's something he's got to address because they indicate the body is in a current diminished state to fend off cancer and prevent the spread of cancer through the lymph nodes. This is an arsenic iodine deficiency. You know, the arsenic that Dr. Oz says is something every one of us needs to stay away from and avoid. I'm sorry, he's an idiot. The body needs a number of different forms of arsenic, three different forms he's saying, and without them, your body's at risk for the onset of cancers. This is proven in the relatively new drug known as arsenic trioxide. By the way, that's very toxic, this drug, arsenic trioxide, which is just a synthetic arsenic, synthetic so that they could patent it as a drug. And if you look at all at the clinical trials that have been conducted on arsenic trioxide over the past 10 or more years, it'll make you realize how essential arsenic is to the human body. Okay, so he's seeming to like this, even the synthetic version, which maybe he's not. Maybe that's not enough information. But anyway, so there you have it. And then he has the picture of two people with this vertical creases above in there between their eyebrows. One, two, three, doesn't really matter, but it's the same thing. Okay, so I posted that. I've had six shares and quite a few comments asking you um, asking questions about it. So and it's only been up for a very short time, so I thought I would address that. So one of the main question that people are asking is how do they get this arsenic? You know, which sounds very strange, right? How do we get arsenic? We need some arsenic. Okay, so the first thing to be aware of is that arsenic is very toxic. It depends on the version of arsenic. So, in its simplest terms, basically, I'm trying to balance poppy, coffee, concentrating on this in its simplest form. So, inorganic arsenic is toxic. Okay, and organic arsenic is not, and we need it. We need it. And in a high enough dose, even organic arsenic would not be good if you have too much of it. But organic arsenic is good. So basically, what people need to understand in general is that this is a true situation for minerals in general. Inorganic, mostly, are varying degrees of toxic, and organic are what we need. When you eat food, be it plants or animals, you're getting your minerals in an organic state. And the difference is how they're bound. They're carbon bound. They're bound with carbon. We're carbon beings. And that makes them absorbable and usable by the human body as opposed to the inorganic state where it's toxic and depending on the particular metal, very toxic or a little bit toxic or whatever. So that's why when you supplement, most of the mineral supplements are inorganic, based on rocks and salts, and you have to be careful with that. There's studies that show, for example, that calcium, which is a mineral that we desperately need, but in its inorganic state, when we supplement with that, we die younger than if we didn't supplement at all. It's not good in an inorganic state. Okay, so we have to be careful about what form we take minerals into our body, and this is particularly true when it comes to something like arsenic, because there's arsenic that can kill you, and then there's arsenic that we need in small amounts in an organic form. So, how do we get arsenic in a form that we need? How do we get minerals in general in a form that we need? And I've been banging on about this for years and years and years. So I'm not particularly a fan of supplementing magnesium and then calcium and then copper and then iron and then arsenic or whatever, whatever other particular nutrient that's the trend of the day, right? I like to get everything in one hit if I can, and you can do that. So I like to get it, first of all, priority number one, in food state. Okay, that's the first thing. Now there are some exceptions. I'm not going to talk about the exceptions. I'm going to talk about the normal situation. You want your vitamins or vitamins, you want your minerals from food. Now supplements are fine if they're food, but if they're crushed rocks and salts and synthetics and all of this stuff, which is what most of them are, then they're not good. Okay, and I've talked a lot about D and how that's a synthetic. The main D that was out there is a synthetic, and it's really, really bad for us. So now let's talk about minerals. So how many minerals do we need? Well, we need at least 60, maybe more. We need at least 60. So if we start supplementing one at a time, it's going to cost us an absolute fortune. Luckily, we don't need to do that. If we're using food-based supplements, it's actually possible to get all of your minerals and all of the vitamins as far as plants can provide from a single one thing. And there's a couple of one things that I recommend. You only do one of them. You can do more if you want, but just one supplement can cover all of your mineral needs and all of your vitamin needs, more or less. I say more or less because there's some vitamins, well, actually, there's a couple of minerals as well, but mainly vitamins that are better sourced from animal sources than plant and algae. Plants and algae, the B12A, iron as a mineral, some that are better from animals, but you can do very, very well from plants. So what I recommend is the usual one I recommend. I don't always recommend this for everybody, but 99 times out of 100, I recommend this. And I don't know if you're on a phone, you might not be able to see this. It might be a little small for you. If you're on a computer, as I am, it's quite easy. But basically, this is the ingredient list. First thing to say about it is there's nothing in there that's not food. All right, there's no additives, no flow fillers or anything. It's just food, and it's 44 superfoods. Okay, the full list is there. If it's too small for you, you might need to look at it on a PC, and then you can have a look at all those ingredients. But they're all organic. They're actually at a higher standard of organic than the usual USDA, very low standards. It is USDA certified, but that's a very low standard. The company has their own much higher standards. So they're all organic. Things like you've got the grasses like barley grass and alfalfa grass and oat grass and wheat grass and all of that stuff. Okay, then you've got things like broccoli and cabbage and kale and spinach and spirulina. So that's the algae now. Spirulina, chlorella, sea kelp, ginseng, green tea, cilantro, milk thistle, parsley, dandelion leaf, turmeric, flaxseed, juice artichoke. It really is a massive, massive list. You've got 44 of amazing superfoods. And when you've got 44 superfoods and they're grown in minerally rich soil in an organic way, you're going to end up with every single mineral that you need. If you didn't, if a human being needed to eat more bread than 44 superfoods to get their nutrition, we'd be in trouble because very few people do that. So you've got every mineral, every vitamin, enzymes, probiotics, prebiotics in one thing. One scoop of this stuff, there's 30 scoops in a canister, one scoop of this stuff nutritionally has about the equivalent of 33 servings of organic fruit and veggies. And like I say, because there's 44 different ones, then you're getting a very, very broad cross-section, not just of minerals and vitamins, but also the various chemicals that plants have, medicinal chemicals, phytochemicals, all these things that we don't necessarily all understand fully exactly what they all are. Some we understand better than others, but it's all there. So you don't need to be buying a arsenic. Well, that would be an interesting single supplement, arsenic. But you don't need to be buying, all these different things for copper and vanadium and chromium, and iron and calcium and magnesium and all the rest of it. You can get it all in one. Save a fortune. And this, as I say, is in a food state, so it's organic. It's organic in the sense that it's chemical free, as far as that's possible, but it's organic in its truest sense as well, that it's not inorganic. Okay, so it's not in. These are all in their bioavailable forms, as we should get in food. So for all of those asking me, how do I get this, that, or the other mineral or vitamin or whatever, this is my go-to. Start here. Now, sometimes there are situations where you need a specific high dose of something. For example, diabetics need high doses of B1 because they flush it. So they're not going to get enough from food or even a food-based supplement. So there's other things you have to do. There are situations where you have a specific need for a specific reason of a high dose of something. Fine. If you've got that out of balance, that's where you are, you might need to do some high dose of something. But for general purposes, for most of us, this is going to cover all your needs. It's going to do it, very inexpensively. For the equivalent of 33 servings, I don't know how much that would cost you where you are, because obviously people are all over the world, but 33 servings of organic fruit and veggies is progressively more and more expensive. This is doing it for about $2. I mean, it's unbelievable good value. Okay, so this is the answer to all those that are asking me, how do I get enough of this, that, or the other vitamin or mineral? If they want digestive support, it's going to do that as well with the prebiotics, probiotics, and enzymes. So this is a all-in-one foundational product that I recommend an awful lot. And there is a way of getting a discount. If you are interested in getting this, let me know, and I may well be able to help you out with a discount for this as well. But it's very good value anyway, before we talk discounts. So I hope that answers the question that people are asking me. I hope that you'll try this, because I've seen phenomenal results using this product for so many people in so many different things. It really is an amazing product. I like to use it with PBX zeolite to remove toxins while I'm providing the nutrients. So that combination is a wonderful combination. So I have a lot of people using those two products together. But in terms of the question that I've been asked multiple times on that thread of how do I get this or that mineral or nutrient, that's how. Food, right? Food that's grown in minerally rich soil, because most of our food is grown in minerally deficient soil. And so even if you have a superfood, if it's grown in minerally deficient soil, it's not going to have what it should have. Okay, so that's the big problem, that our food itself is deficient because of where it's grown and how it's grown, and the inorganic aspects as well, because it's not, most of our food is not organic. We've got deficient soil, but on top of that, they're spraying heavily with toxins, and those toxins inhibit the plant's ability to absorb the nutrients from the soil. So you've already not got much in there, and now it can't absorb them. Then the same thing happens to us. Filling ourselves with toxins, it inhibits our ability to absorb the nutrients in the deficient food that we're eating, which also couldn't absorb the nutrients in the deficient soil that they're eating. It's a downward spiral. So this is how you can start to reverse that. Hope that's helpful. Anyone got any questions, just shout, and I will try and put a link. Well, I'll not try, I will put a link in the thread, the original thread. Oh, I can put one under here as well. So I'll put a link to the product so you can look at it, see the price, and hopefully try it, because like I say, usually I've got one beside me I would have shown, but I took it down to the kitchen today because I needed to make one, and I forgot to bring it back. So can't show you, but as I say, I will leave a link for you to check it out. Have a great day. God bless. Bye bye.